This guy is nuts. Is he really making daily recordings of his possible divorce and releasing it as a podcast? They both cheated on each other? She's making 6 figures and still doesn't contribute to any joint endeavors financially? Why is she still with him? Why is he still with her? I can't wait for the next episode. This helps me be a better wife. So this is how men think. I hate my husband less now. I understand my wife more now. These are some of the listener comments to the Divorce Diaries podcast. All over the map, I know. These anonymous accounts of events should resonate with anyone that has been married, is married, or is preparing for marriage, and helps couples avoid pitfalls as they might prepare for marriage. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else. At Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
This is exhausting. There's a business that I want to launch, and I got kind of some bad news, or interesting news, I should say, on the business. I learned that the business that I want to start is active and being started and has been in business by several other companies for quite a while now. And it was discouraging to hear that. But what's been more discouraging, is that I put this business on hold because I was advised to by my lawyers. You don't realize how much your life will stop and be affected by divorce. You think that, this is going to stink. It may even be really expensive, the lawyers and stuff like that. And it's a lot more than that. I have podcasts that I want to launch, this being one of them. The Divorce Diaries, I want that up, and I had all of the episodes that I no longer really agree with, only because I was such an emotional man when those were posted. Now I'm nowhere near as emotional as I was at the time these things were beginning, and as things were unraveling and unfolding and being unearthed. Now I am very calm, and I think that this is worth listening to, for men, for women, for those that are thinking about getting married, and they can understand that the person that you're with, that's the representative. That's their best representation of themselves, or that's the representation that they're choosing to show you. And you don't know who you're dealing with until they really show you. And usually that comes in the form of adversity and them having experienced adversity. And they're just like, oh crap, this is a really rough time in my life. Here's how I now respond. Like, let's say, hypothetically, you're in a sports arena and someone comes in, God forbid, with a firearm, and they just start shooting people indiscriminately. If this happens, there are going to be some people that sit still and they don't do anything. There will be other people that try to run toward the shooter. That'll be very few. There will be other people that will try to run away. There will be a person that falls down inevitably, because that's what happens when there's mass hysteria and everyone runs in different directions. Some people, they may, when they come up to someone that's fallen down, some people will jump over them. Some people will step on them, which means maybe they didn't notice. Jumping over means you did notice and you avoided. Other people will stop to pick up others. Everyone will respond differently when a massive amount of stress is dumped on them at one time. And you'll usually, hopefully, this is what I'll say, because blissful ignorance is a beautiful thing. Blissful ignorance. I hope that you don't ever experience your partner under extreme adversity. I hope you never ever experience that, because if you do, you may find out that you're married to the person that steps on people if there's mass hysteria. You may thankfully find out that you're with a person that stops and helps to pick you up. You don't know who you'll get. All you know is it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen, but you don't know because you haven't seen them this way before. That's why sometimes it's really good to have met someone when they're at their lowest or experiencing some adversity, because you can see them and you can see how they move. And if you don't involve yourself too much in their growth or in their healing or whatever, and you just kind of can watch them move, you're like, wow, they still didn't hurt anyone. They still didn't do anything bad. They still didn't. Wow. I'm glad to take this person as my own. I really am. And I'm learning who I was married to. I am married to the person that steps on you, but they see you first. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. The person that I'm married to will see you and step on you, because she's done so many premeditated things, premeditated lies, premeditated secrets, premeditated manipulations. So many things have been premeditated, and I thought I was married to a person that just kind of did things or found themselves in positions. I didn't realize that she was such a active participant in her life. So now, with this divorce, I have to pause my podcast. It can't go up, because if my podcast does earn some advertising revenue, then she could take that. I now understand that I'm married to a person that wants to take things that they're not entitled to indiscriminately. She does not care. She's like, you have it, I want it. I guess I could have had a person that's just like, yep, I'm done with you, on to the next. Well, she is that person too. She has been done with me and she's been on to the next. Several nexts, to be honest. And she was even moved on to the next while we were married. So it's like, wow. Even in my indiscretion, I ended it on my own, and I came to tell her, hey, I cheated. I'm sorry, it's over. I'm that person. I'm that idiot that admits their wrongdoing because it's on their conscience and they feel like they're wronging the other person by not saying anything. I don't take it back. I wouldn't do it any different. Well, the one thing that I would do differently, I would not have had an affair. I would have left the marriage. Done. And knowing what I know about her now, I'm purposefully not saying, oh, I actually would have, I would have gone to counseling and I would have sought therapy. No, this is me speaking both from hindsight in two different ways. I know who my soon-to-be ex-wife is, so there is no therapy with this person. My ex-wife was supposed to be someone that I enjoyed time with for a short time. Maybe someone that I stayed in touch with, but kept at arm's length, or maintained a physical-only relationship with. Primarily physical, I should say. Because she is still a nice person if you don't get too deep. If you don't get invested, you can't get hurt. And I got invested. That's all I do in all of my relationships. All I do is invest. Push all my chips to the center of the table. I'm all in. Because that's what I read and that's what I was told. That's how relationships work. You got to be all in. You got to be all in. So that's where I am, and look what it's costing me. My podcast needs to be on hold. My daughter and I are living in the same place, and I hope that I can amass enough funds where I can buy a house again one day. And at least a house where she can always feel she can come. I don't want to bounce around from rental to rental, but a place where she feels that she can come, a place where maybe eventually one day, if I have any, my grandkids can come, and something that could potentially be passed down. I still have that dream of owning that home and bouncing my grandkids on my knee while I'm there. And, that could be a very good thing. I hope that it can be a good thing. I hope that I can still realize that on some level. I hope that my daughter can realize that comfort and she can say, I'm really glad, no, this is where I live. This is my home. This is the home I grew up in for the majority of my life. And this is where my dad still lives. Or maybe I don't still live there, but he still owns that house. That would be awesome. He still owns that house. But pause. That's what divorce does. It pauses you. It pauses things because your train was going along. You had a family. It's chugging along. Your kids are getting older, chugging. You have another kid, chugging. You get a career advancement, chugging. Divorce. Pause. Stop. That house you were in, you've got to sell it. That job you have, it's now stressful to work at even more than it was before. Those kids that you have, they've chosen sides. It's a very dark and despicable thing, divorce. It really, really is. I don't know why everything has to pause, but all I know is it does. So if there's anything that you're working on, just know that when you get a divorce, you'll have to stop that. Who knows for how long? Who knows if stopping it, this is why I'm recording so often. I'm recording like almost every day. I'm trying to habitually record, because if I habitually record, then I can sort of, how can I say it? Maybe the spark won't die out. So I'm just recording so that one day when I publish all this stuff, yes, I will have forgotten most of this. And when I go back and listen to it, I'll say, holy crap, what was I thinking? Why did I say that? Why did I make that choice? Why did I do that thing? It'll be really tough. But hey, this is what I've got to do. So understand, in divorce, you're definitely going to pause. Things are going to pause and it's going to suck. But try your best to hit play as frequently as you can, even if you have to hit play in secret like I am. I'm recording all my podcasts in secret. And when they're published, just know that's when my divorce will have been final. Or I got the okay from my legal team. Yeah, you've been separated long enough. Anything you earn now, it'll be outside of any marital property. You got it. It's yours. Go for it. Swing for the fences. Then that way, at least while I'm going through a shit show with my ex, things can be okay with me. Take care, guys, and God bless you all.
Wow, that was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.